So now that you've written your essay and you know how to write your essay, it's important that you check your work. Okay, most people skip this step because they don't have enough time or they don't feel like it. Whatever the excuse may be, you need to check your work, my friends, okay? Because if you don't, you will have simple mistakes, and if you have small mistakes here and there, they will gather up to one huge mistake, and it can cost you up to 2 bands off, which is horrible, and you don't want that kind of thing, and I understand that. So I'm here to urge you to check your work. Okay, and this is a revision checklist for task 1. I've posted an article so you can print it out or copy it down or just have it, as part of the lecture because it's useful. So this is the checklist. So that and this follows the format of the rubric, right? So addressing the task, make sure you paraphrase the question in the introduction. You put the dates, the years, the units, what it's measured in, and general trends only, no details. Okay. Second part, coherence and cohesion. You have logical transitions. We've talked about vocabulary. You have articles. You have all you need. You don't need to memorize every single word that's on there. You can use just 2, 3, and then just keep recycling them throughout your essay. So just keep reusing them. Okay, so logical transitions and effective sentence starters. That's also part of that was part of a lecture, and there's an article on it too. So you guys can look through those words, practice writing a lot, and then it will just stay in your mind. Lexical resource, vocabulary variety range, correct spelling. Right? You want to have correct spelling in the words. If it's a minor mistake, like once or twice, it won't affect your band. But if you're constantly having spelling mistakes in easy words, right, that doesn't give off a good impression to the teacher, to the examiner, which is why it's super important that you check your work, because when you do read it, you would have found those mistakes, right, that could have gotten you a higher mark. Vocabulary variety, basically don't use the same words over and over again. That's why we have synonyms, and we've talked about this, and there are examples. So you guys have all the materials necessary to fulfill this checklist and the criteria on the rubric. And the last one is grammatical range and accuracy. So sentence variety, you want to have simple, compound, complex, basically short, long, and longer sentences, right? So your sentences cannot be super long. I don't want to forget what I was reading at the beginning of your sentence by the time I get to the end. It has to make sense. It cannot be longer than 3 lines. That's way too long, right? So you can have complex, compound sentences that are like 2, 3 lines long, or simple ones that are just a sentence long. Right? Simple sentences doesn't mean like childish sentences. You can say simple things, but it can mean powerful things, right? We all know that. There's so many quotes like that. So you just need to make sure that your sentences are different, that they're varying, so that the examiner is interested in reading your paper, and it shows how rich your vocabulary range is and how rich your language level is, which is what IELTS is supposed to be measuring. So, and that you have correct grammar, right? I've said this before. If you have a simple mistake that, it's the examiner still understands what you're saying, then you're going to be fine. If you have a lot of those simple mistakes, that's not fine. That adds up to one big mistake once again, okay? If your sentences just straight up don't make sense, if the format is completely wrong, then you need to relook at your grammar, and you need to practice grammar and take grammar courses, okay? So this is the checklist for task 1, academic, not general. General is different. I'm going to have another course on that one. So this is the checklist. It follows the rubric. So make sure that you have this kind of in your head, because on the exam you can't take anything with you. So make sure you have this in your head. That way you're kind of going through it, and you know exactly what you have to write to get the maximum band.